Are we live? Hello, Internet. This is RJ Navarro, aka Don't Read This If You're Straight. And today, it's the same day, but not for long. We are going to be playing the story of a man named Stanley. Actually, we are going to be continuing the story of a man named Stanley. Hold on. Hello. This is RJ Navarro, aka Don't Read This If You're Straight. And today, I'm going to be continuing the sequel to the story of a man named Stanley. That's right, we're playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, currently also known as the Stanley Parable 2. Very interesting. Sorry for spoilers if you just got here. But I started playing this earlier today because it's still today. It hasn't reached tomorrow yet. That's in a few more minutes. And where am I? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was. This is new, I believe. This wasn't in the original game. So let's go through this with the bucket. It was about like crazy bucket god or so. What the fuck is this?
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you? What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Oh, okay. Cool. The loading screens take a while. That was a chance to be a big shot. After this, I'm gonna watch a Scott the Woz video on GameCube
All of his
wannabes.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Get well someday.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Well, there's the bucket. I don't quite want the bucket yet. I'm going to go... Which one do I want to do? Do I want to do the game ending or the adventure line ending? I think they call it confusion ending.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
just to admire it.
It was okay.
He's so upset.
But
Eager to get back to business,
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I'll do game and then confusion.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Come on, I know I can... It's possible, or at least it used to be. Maybe it's not anymore. I swear I'd done it. It's the same type of chair. Maybe they fixed the geometry or something. I don't know. This is new though. A little catwalk. I get down there. That wasn't in the original.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story
Shit.
is eagerness to...
Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
just to admire it.
It was okay. But
Eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. No, he did not.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really.
I'm not.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What?
Really?
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to
I think there
convince
were
you of this,
two
but I really do
endings
want
this
to help
way.
you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
There really is no bucket sign. Is that new?
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anmarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anmarines. None of us can. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
I'm doing this one first.
Fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. Do you see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
These are from the original Stanley Parable, I think.
I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing.
I actually have no clue.
Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
I'm not doing the baby ending, the baby game ending.
Of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park.
This is gonna give me my Stanley
Let's
stats,
take a
right?
look.
Yeah! I didn't update this to say Ultra Deluxe. Here's me. Yep, that is me. Ranked last, of course. Yep. Friends list empty, of course. Fuck you, I'm going on the door on the right.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
This is the baby game.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do.
Oh, that thing melted in the original. It just turned into the wood plank.
Might improve the experience
I mean, you can kind of see
I'm not
the
even going
wood
to
plank
try.
through it, but in the original, the baby just vanished, and it was just the wood plank.
Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain?
It's gonna start with Minecraft.
What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Well, it should start with Minecraft. Maybe they couldn't get the rights again this time. Oh.
Ah, fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation?
They did
Well, it seems
update
obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower.
What?
Perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes.
Game
that
is
must be.
this?
What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
What? Was that still the Minecraft door noise? What is this game? There's... Okay. I'm gonna have to Google what this is referencing. This was Minecraft in the original HD version.
Oh no.
He didn't like it because it's far too open-ended.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call. You really wandered off into that thing. That big, open, just wandering around. No right or wrong directions. No path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game.
Well, at least there's a picture of Minecraft.
Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the
Is it
thing.
still gonna be Portal? No. This is Rocket League.
See, this is exactly what
This
I
is
had in
Rocket
mind.
League.
Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design.
Can I?
Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed. Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Oh shit, I'm running fast. Stanley's pretty fast here in Rocket League.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought, and I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes. Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it?
This act.
Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery
This is
shop.
actually
I
pretty.
simply have to have more.
This is.
I'm insatiable.
This is actually pretty cool.
More balls.
But I see now how it's like Portal. He's either gonna get bored and leave me here, or I'm gonna fall into the hole. It's a little bummer that it doesn't use Portal anymore, but I guess that makes sense.
Is this a real video game? Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I am structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best. Take care, Stanley. Hold on. What are you doing?
Here we are.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that.
This is different. Okay. Okay, so this is the original Stanley Parable mod for Half-Life. Or at least it's designed after it. Eventually, in theory, if I either recognize this place or I know I'm going the right way. Eventually, if I either recognize this place from the original mod, which I don't really do because I didn't have the original mod, I didn't play the original mod. But I'll find 427. This is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. It kind of just ends after wandering around down here for a while. Yeah.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
I'll Google what that first game was. Bummer, it doesn't have portal. Alright. We're gonna do one more ending.
Just a step
We're gonna
through
do a
this door,
few more
Stanley thought to himself,
endings.
that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it a good bucket. A strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
What the hell? Hey, thanks for following. Whoever followed? Let me check. Damn, I missed it. Thanks for following, though. Or subscribing, maybe? I don't really know. Oh man, my chat box isn't appearing correctly. I'm not my chat box, my alert box. Unless that was just a glitch. But thanks for following, whoever followed. Sorry that it didn't pop up. Nearby a fireplace. The boss's office. The boss's office is the only fireplace I can think of.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Okay.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I might do the escape ending next.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Okay.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
A little bummed I can't companion queue.
But here was the
It wasn't a companion
the
queue,
heart
it
of
was
the
just a weighted
operation.
storage queue.
Controls labeled with emotions, happy
Little
or
bummed
sad
the
or
portal's not in the
content.
game.
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that... But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Silly birds!
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and there dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Interesting.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a
What?
pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Now I remember when Stanley found the collectibles. I guess it's only a one-time thing, the collectibles. 2013, the original remake. Good times. We got all these. Let's begin again. This one's just empty. Okay. This is the freedom ending, I think.
Ah, here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
7 out of 6?
And here was a second Stanley. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Oh?
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
It's the boss's bathroom.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Haha, I'm on top of the toilet. I can't climb out the window, damn it.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No. No, that didn't happen.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was by the red and blue doors. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Oh my god! I need to know if there's like a support or like a dev email or something, cause this is I want to know what program.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Okay. They lead to the same path, I guess. This is where I found the final mini Stan.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here behind the boss's office. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike
I didn't get to
any
do the
other.
warehouse one again.
Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Bummer, the warehouse one was, I think, my favorite one.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Huh?
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Oh? Oh.
Okay, yes, the back of the boss's office. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Oh. Okay.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that video.
Oh, okay. And
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
okay. I'm quite bummed that I had
These
to
really
do.
were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Oh, I don't get to do the warehouse one again. That's
This was our
sad.
second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
Okay.
This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this? Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
This is like the main part of the game. This is...
And before everything else, there was your office.
I can still go through my...
Is there anything else? Was there something that
My
came before
chair.
your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go.
What?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
What?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
Reset the game
Feeling a wave of
entirely.
disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door. Just go.
I feel a lot of emotions right now.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Damn it, too slow.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control?
Never.
It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided... blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze
Woo,
upon his
speedrun.
skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley just stood there doing nothing at all. He seems to think I have nothing better to do with my time than to sit around and describe every fascinating little detail of his inability to do anything. This is why Stanley and I are on such good terms.
Interesting. What the? in the game again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Perhaps
he
he
had
had simply missed.
the embrace of an old friend, a weathered companionship that stands the test of time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Reset the game
Still no one was
entirely.
here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Darn. Alright, fair enough.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked
I haven't done the
upstairs
bottom
to
of the
boss's
staircase
office.
ending at all, but I don't really care to.
Stepping
Oh. Alright, cool. It's still possible with the bucket. There's my bucket. After this, I think I'm gonna call it quits for tonight. Four, three, two. Four, three, two. Four, three, two. Wait a second. Is that 430? This is still this is the same floor. What? Huh? This doesn't make any sense. Escape pod launch bay. Escape. Oh, this is different. Why is this so sensual? Okay, he's sushing it, now he's wiping off tears, I think. This is weird. So I just shipped away the bucket, I guess. was weird. All right. Well, that was an experience. Maybe tomorrow or later today, I guess. Don't forget like, share, comment, subscribe. Uh, leave what your favorite trauma was from today's episode. I will see you all next time.